Good afternoon everyone. My name is Joe Wallen and I've been managing my own regenerative farm in Gippsland for the past 6 years. We're gathered here today to discuss the current agricultural crisis that faces the nation. The current state of Australia's agricultural industries are a far cry from what they should be. For hundreds of years, the country's relationship with its land has been a constant uphill battle, working against the natural order of our ecological systems. Centuries upon centuries of this environmental abuse through practices such as tilling, reliance on chemicals, and all-in-all destruction of the sacred land of our country has led the nation down an unstable path of environmental damage, economic travesty, and a mental health epidemic plaguing the farmers that our nation relies on. Without informing the public, and especially farmers like yourselves, about the dangers of Australia's current approach to agriculture, whilst educating you about the saving grace that is regenerative ag, we would not be able to make a change. Thank you to everyone who showed up today, as this is where the real change happens, face to face, farmer to farmer. At the end of the day, the message is clear. We as a country must unite to better our approach to agriculture by working with nature, not against it. I task all of you here today to take note of your surroundings whilst driving home tonight. I'll tell you what you'll see: desolate paddocks and vast expanses of bare soil in those paddocks. This is perfectly normal to all of us here. This is farming. But you know what? It shouldn't be. Look at nature. You won't see this in a natural, thriving landscape. It's simply not natural and not right. The hard truth is that it's folks like me and you, and our fathers and their fathers, who have generationally abused the land of which we have relied upon for centuries. We have collectively tilled, sprayed, and overall put our land in absolute turmoil. Many of the fundamental agricultural practices that we use revolve around fighting against the land. Think tilling. Each time we are ploughing our paddocks, we are literally tearing apart the biological ecosystems that allow good soils to thrive. Our reliance on spraying chemicals to eliminate weeds from our soils is a terrible step in the wrong direction. The thing so many farmers like you and I struggle with is finding feasible alternatives for these practices that reap the same rewards. However, through regenerative principles and techniques such as keeping the soil covered by vegetation all year round, which will minimise erosion and carbon loss, you will find yourself farming with the land, not battling for dominance over it. Think about modern day drought conditions which cause farmers strife nationwide. It all links back to what the human race has done to our environment and is a reminder of this damage. Without your commitment to making a change, our agricultural landscape will be destined for atrocity. With your help, we can all work together to improve the environment for everybody. I hear concerns from fellow farmers across the country regarding the economical viability of regenerative agricultural practices. I'm certain that more than one of you here today are unsure that a shift to going regenerative would even be possible financially. And I'll tell you right now that not only is it possible, but it is prosperous. But don't just take it from me. A good mate of mine down in Gippsland made the change to regenerative practices nigh on 4 years ago, and the numbers don't lie. Through his choice to farm alongside nature, he has seen a financial increase in 180% annually. This comes from things such as premiums put onto products labelled as regenerative, or even just overall greater crop yield of high quality due to the benefits of maintaining healthy soils across his farm. But who can blame you fellow farmers for being hesitant to make the first move towards a shift? It seems daunting, and it is much more comforting to keep doing what you know best. But this is the one major barrier that stops farmers from following through. But by sharing other farmers' journeys into the regenerative industry, we can glimpse their economic benefits that sit beyond this barrier. My final talking point I have for you today revolves around a very heavy topic. I am 100% certain that all of you here today can personally connect to this issue in one way or another, and that issue is the nationwide mental health crisis of our farmers in Australia. The torrential process of farming against the land day in and day out has undeniably played a major role in the epidemic amongst our farmers. This everyday struggle with the land builds up inside farmers' heads and presents unbearable mental health problems, in severe cases leading to suicide. Many farmers have told me personally that a switch to regenerative practices has led them to a better and healthier mental state. And this comes from many factors such as the aforementioned environmental and economical benefits, which reassure farmers that not only are they financially stable to support their farms and families, but also lets them feel the positive impacts they are having in their environmental surroundings. The need to improve our farmers is essential right now, as this mental health epidemic rages on. I'll now present you a sentence taken straight from the Department of Health. On average, in Australia, every 10 days, a farmer dies from suicide. I hope you took a moment to think on that. As I leave you all today, I implore all of you to employ a more open-minded and receptive view on regenerative agriculture. Without the endorsement and input from local farmers like yourself, we as a nation will never be able to move forward as a collective. Consider the environmental enrichment that you can employ on your own farms and the financial benefits that will come from making this regenerative shift. Think of the mental state not only of yourself, but of your next door neighbour. Care for those in your local communities. Most importantly, educate and inform those you associate with, your mates, your family, of the overall prosperity that comes from regenerative agriculture as we work to progress the agricultural industry of Australia as one. Thank you all for coming.